Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Joe.
And together we're the Maladjusted Misfits.
And this is the one where we talk about friends. Adam, what do you have there?
Your drain hair. I was going to add it to my pillow.
Ew, what pillow?
The one you're sitting on.
Oh my god, that's gross. Don't do that. You nasty.
Welcome, Misfits, and hello to any new Friends fans who have stumbled across our podcast.
Every week, we rewatch the next episode in sequential order and break them down. Our thoughts, trivia, and sometimes useless information that I just happen to look up.
That's right.
Hey.
If you are a fan and or you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe and rate us on whatever platform you listen to.
Yeah, and check us out on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow the links in the show notes. The pages are called The One Where We Talk About Friends.
Season 3, Joe, you excited?
I am. I can't believe it's season 3.
I know, so fast.
It did go fast. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we had those 2 bonus episodes.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think of those?
Those were fun. Yeah, Romy and Michelle was pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right, what are we doing this week?
The one with the Princess Leia Fantasy.
Yep, everybody's Princess Leia Fantasy. What's our plot?
Monica suffers from insomnia and depression following her breakup with Richard. Joey struggles to accept Chandler and Janice's relationship, and Ross confides in Rachel about one of his fantasies. Guess which one?
I think it has to do with Princess Leia, but I'm not going to say. All right, our episode director was Gail Mancuso.
Oh, Gail.
She's a returning director.
Mm-hmm.
She directs 4 episodes this season.
Okay.
And then remember, she directed episodes of Grace and Frankie, Dharma and Greg, and Gilmore Girls.
Aw.
And although she typically lives and directs in L.A., she has a house in Illinois with her family and splits her time between those 2 homes.
Oh, wow. Fun.
Yeah, she goes back and forth. All right, our episode writers were Michael Curtis and Greg Mallins, and we've had them before.
Yeah.
They wrote 2 episodes this season. Michael Curtis was also the head writer for a show called The Joe Schmo Show.
Oh. Okay.
And the plot of it is it's a
Foul.
a fake reality TV show where most of the contestants are actors and the reactions of the real people are surrounded by 24/7 are carefully engineered. It's supposed to be a crazy show.
Oh.
So like a hidden camera show.
Right.
The Joe Schmo Show.
We'll have to look that up. I never heard of it.
And then Greg Mallins has also written a few episodes of the TV series Why Women Kill.
Ooh.
Which we need to watch because we've mentioned it before. But it stars one of our favorites, Allison Tolman from the TV show Fargo and Krampus.
Yeah. I like her.
Yeah, she's funny.
Fun.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. The original air date for this episode was September 19th, 1996.
Ooh.
The top 3 movies from that weekend were at number 3, Fly Away Home, starring a little Anna Paquin. She's showing some geese how to fly home.
I remember that movie.
Number 2, Last Man Standing.
Oh, yeah.
A Bruce Willis Shoot 'em Up. Is a Fistful of Dollars remake.
Okay, yeah.
And The First Wives Club was number 1,
Whoa.
which I never saw, but I don't think I was in the targeted demographic.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't remember seeing it either. Those types of movies never really interest me.
Oh, yeah?
The First Wives Club, and then like there's another one with like Bette Midler and them in it, and just never got into it.
Never got into those, huh?
Maybe because I wasn't a first wife. I'm the only wife.
Yeah. And again, you were young at the time. I don't think either of
in
us
1996
were in the demographic.
True. All right, are you ready for some trivia?
I am ready.
All right. Right off the bat, Star Wars creator George Lucas sent the production team a letter congratulating them on Ross's Princess Leia Fantasy. He thought it was accurate, and they did a very good job, and he was like, it was funny.
I know that I started a whole thing with boys' sexual fantasies. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Towards the end, Monica smokes a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Courtney Cox was a smoker at the time. She quit 3 years later before she married David Arquette.
Oh. Okay.
She admitted she had been smoking since she was 13 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of those people I went to high school with that smoked quite a bit. Not me. I never.
No.
I never.
Never got into it. Maybe because your parents smoked like chimneys.
Yeah, you think that would have made me want to smoke? I don't know.
My dad smoked, and my older brother said he would never smoke, but now he smokes. So.
Yeah.
All right, Jennifer Aniston, if you notice, has reddish hair during season 3 of the show, starting with this episode. Mm-hmm. While it's widely believed that she dyed her hair for the movie Picture Perfect, which was released in 1997, in which she filmed on a hiatus from the show between the second and the third season, she actually dyed it red because she auditioned for the role of Rose in Titanic.
Oh.
That came out in 1997. Right. The role, of course, eventually went to Kate Winslet, but both Kate Winslet's character and her mom had red hair. Right. So that's why she dyed her hair.
Interesting.
It is interesting. It would have been a different movie.
Yeah.
Phoebe thinks Elton John's song Tiny Dancer is actually about Tony Danza. Mm-hmm. In 2021, with the help of Courtney Cox and Ed Sheeran and Elton John, they did a version of the song with those lyrics dedicated to Lisa Kudrow.
Oh, fun.
It was on Instagram. I'll see if I can find it and put the link in the stories.
Okay.
And the last one, when Rachel dressed up as Princess Leia, she used a legendary metal bikini, which she got right, but she also did the cinnamon bun hairstyle.
Yeah.
In Return of the Jedi, Leia's hair, while in the metal bikini, was a long ponytail.
Yes.
Although the cinnamon bun hairstyle is easily her most iconic look. Ironically, Rachel asked Ross if the hair is wrong.
Because it is.
Because it is. Which I thought was funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
So what were your episode reactions for Season 3, Episode 1?
Season 3, Episode 1. It's great. We get Jennifer Aniston in a Leia gold bikini, and Monica was sad. And did I say gold bikini?
Yes.
Joey and Ross did something too, I think. I can't remember. They shouldn't have ended with the gold bikini. It really made everything else hard to remember.
I think this is a good season opener. I think it's funny. It has multiple storylines going. Janice and Joey's Day of Fun is super funny. That would have been a hoot to see if they would have filmed some of that. Yeah. That would have been fun. Especially Bat Day at the stadium. Chandler thinking about his mom and ruining the gold bikini for everyone. And poor Monica, depressed about Richard until she hears he may be worse off than she is.
Aw, she's so excited.
Yeah, and she falls asleep right away. All right, favorite lines.
So what was your favorite line?
There was a lot, but I really liked when Rachel and Ross are kind of arguing about her telling the fantasy.
Right.
And she goes, I didn't think it was a big deal. And he goes, oh, she didn't think it was a big deal. Whoa. And then Rachel goes, who are you talking to when you do that?
That's weird. You keep doing that.
I don't like when people talk in third person or in that, like,
right.
I don't get it either. So I just thought that was funny. What was your favorite?
My favorite when Joey and Chandler are talking to each other. Joey's talking about him dumping Janice.
Yeah.
And he's like, quit yanking me. And Chandler goes, I'm not yanking you.
I knew that was going to be your favorite, so I saved it for you because it is really funny.
Yeah, and I like to just say, that's another thing I just say randomly to people sometimes.
I'm not yanking you.
He sounds so disgusted by it.
Favorite moment, I had to go with when Jack comes over for a little monocuddle. I think that's super cute when he says that. Something my dad would have never done.
My favorite moment, I like Joey admitting that he still can't stand Janice. He's playing it off where she's standing there, and as soon as she leaves, Chandler's like, you still hate her. He's like, I'm sorry.
I tried. It's super cute.
I think he was going to keep up the charade, but then Chandler was like, no.
Chandler saw through him.
All right, favorite outfit.
I went with an ironic one this week.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah,
Season 3, ironic outfit.
Monica was in very schlumpy clothes and
yeah, she was kind of
Phoebe had on like a vesty type thing. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, Rachel had on a cute dress, but it just wasn't something that... So I had to go with Janice's shoulder-padded peplum lime green suit.
Ooh, peplum.
Yeah, it's got a little skirty thing on the bottom of the jacket.
I learned a new word today.
You did. Okay. That outfit is so bright. I personally love color, but from head to toe in lime green, that's a bit much.
You like color, but you don't like the same color.
Yeah, I don't like head to toe the same color. Right. You're right. So I'm going to give it to Janice. How about you?
Well, I don't want to go for the obvious, which would be Aniston and the Princess Leia gold bikini. But I am. Even though the hair is non-canonical, which does throw it off a little bit. I still enjoy it quite a bit. It's my new phone background. Oh I'm just kidding.
That's not true. Your phone background's always scary pictures. All right, themes we explored this episode. Theme number 1, fantasies.
Yes. Theme number 2, getting your friends to like your significant other.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever have to do that with any of your friends? Talk them into liking me?
They all seem to like you. I mean...
Except that one guy who wanted to date you tried to break us up.
Yeah, but I don't think that was a problem with you specifically.
Theme 3, getting over a breakup.
Yeah.
Sad. Monica was very sad.
And theme 4, being an adult and tolerating your friends' significant others.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet. I've had those friends. I've had people tell me that they didn't like their significant other, and then I badmouthed them, and then they were like, Andy proposed. And I'm like, oh, that's great.
All right.
All right, we're going to take a quick break before we break down the episode. We'll be right back.
The Civil War, April 12th, 1861, 4:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. The United States garrison at Fort Sumter was fired upon. It is now under bombardment. Ross Skywalker and his troops are infiltrated Jabba's compound. Skywalker releases many slaves held by Jabba. Among them, his own mother, held as Jabba's sexy bikini-clad babe. Chandler offers to assist her and all the other mothers to freedom. But the mothers are being led by Han Joey.
Adam, I don't think people find the Civil War Friends Star Wars fan fiction a tad confusing.
Probably disrespectful, too.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, we're back.
All right, we're back. We're going to cold open Central Perk, all 6 of our friends.
Yes.
And oh my God, in the cold open, right off the bat, sweater vest number 1 of season 3.
Yeah.
You walk right in, and there's a sweater vest.
Yeah, last season they made us wait till episode 12. They did not waste any time in season 3.
They were like, holy shit, people are counting these vests. We better up the ante. So we open up on the gang walking into Central Perk.
Yeah.
And Joey's telling Chandler that a girl winked at him. But the girls are saying, nah, man, she didn't wink at you. But they look over and the couch is occupied. But the couch is occupied by writers of season 3 of Friends. And
fun.
there's 3 girls and 3 guys, which I thought was super cute. This only happens 2 other times when they walk into Central Perk and they're not able to sit down. The one with the Nagi, and the one where Chandler gets caught. Someone's sitting in their seats. So, but they look around to find a place packed, and Chandler says, "Huh," and they sadly turn and walk out.
Yeah,
and that's the cold open.
No coffees to go or anything.
No, they were just like, "No, we can't have our seats. Forget it."
Then we go to Monica and Rachel's. Phoebe, Ross, Rachel, and then Monica. We start off with Ross, Rachel, and Phoebe eating breakfast. Aniston showing a lot of leg under the table.
She has got her little shorts on.
And Ross says, I have to say Tupelo Honey by Van Morrison. And Rachel is like, no way. She says the most romantic song is The Way We Were. I don't know if she prefers Perry Como or Barbra Streisand versions, But Phoebe chimes in with her vote as the song Elton John wrote for the guy on Who's the Boss. Hold me close, young tone, to dance. That would be Tiny Dancer.
So I listened to Tupelo Honey by Van Morrison.
As did I.
And what's your verdict?
I don't know. I
didn't care for it either. I was just like, this is a love song?
Yeah.
It was all right.
The Barbra Streisand one's a little bit better.
Right. But The
I'm...
Way We Were is kind of a sad song. It's not really a love song. It's like memories of the way we were. It's
right.
like past tense. So, Adam, favorite love song?
I'm gonna... Let's see. I Miss You by Blink-182.
Okay.
We're in This Together Now by 9 Inch Nails.
Aww.
Or I Think You're Freaky and I Like You a Lot by Die Antwoord. I mean, romantic songs aren't really my forte, but I like those three.
That's good, yeah.
Joe?
Well, of course, you stole my number one. We're in This Together Now by 9 Inch Nails. It's a good song. I still love Without You by Harry Nilsson.
Yeah.
That one's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And then for some reason, I don't care if Elvis Presley sings it, but I like the song I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. That one's a good one.
Oh. Back to the program. Monica emerges from her bedroom in a robe, not her fun robe, a drab robe. And she's looking sullen as her friends say hello, and she gives a little sup nod and just goes into the Wiz Palace. They explain that Monica hasn't slept in 3 days, so the timeline is, not
too far from
not
after.
Spring to fall.
Yeah.
It's like 3 days later from the last episode.
Yep.
Ross says that she stopped crying yesterday, but then she found a cigar butt that Ricardo left on the terrace. And then Phoebe says that explains last night I got a 2-ish a.m. call with squeaks and hisses of a mouse or a possum. And then she thought, well, how would one of those critters afford a phone call?
Where would they get the money?
And they're all like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a story about the boy kid when he was little.
Not that little, though.
No, he was, how old was he?
I would say 10 or 11.
Yeah, he was 10 or 11-ish. And he would ride his bike around the neighborhood with a
foam sword.
A foam sword stuck down his shirt.
Yep.
And one time he comes home and he goes, so I saw this squirrel and I stopped and got off my bike and I pulled out my sword and it ran off. Stupid squirrel didn't even know it was a fake sword. It's like, okay, man.
That was one for the books. All right, then we head over to Chandler and Joey's. There's Joey, Chandler, and eventually Janice. So Joey comes out of his bedroom in his hideous shirt. This is a gross, ugly shirt. Yeah. And he has greasy hair again. Ugh. Anyhow, too harsh. Never mind.
Nope, it's greasy. It is greasy hair.
So there's pancakes on the counter, and Joey surmises that Chandler made them.
Yeah, like there's any way I could ever do that. Just a counterpoint.
Yeah.
Pancakes are super easy, really? Chandler. Just give it a go.
Add some water, maybe an egg, and then you just pour it on a hot griddle. Janice comes in singing her syrup song, and Joey rolls his eyes immediately. She says good morning to him, and he sees good morning. And then there's a cut line where she says, someone must be wearing grumpy pants. And Chandler goes, it's got to be you, man, because I'm wearing smarty pants.
Oh. Sometimes I put my grumpy pants on the first thing in the morning.
Sometimes you sleep in them.
Sometimes you sleep in them. You spend all day in grumpy pants.
I gotta recover. Hold on. So the scene keeps going on the DVD. There's continuation. And Janice starts counting out pancakes for Chandler's plate. And she says, 1, 2, and here's my chance to give you a third one. Wink, wink. To which Chandler asks Joey if he wants any. And he says, no thanks. Just juice.
Just juice. No.
No, thank you. And then Chandler says a line that Adam often says to me in the morning. Why don't you stay home from work and hang out with me?
Yeah.
Or the other one, as I'm getting ready for work. So what do you want to do today?
I always hope that maybe you'll be like, today I'm going to throw in a surprise. I want to play hooky? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, hooky.
I was like, hockey just not right.
Hooky doesn't sound right either. But. Janice, like Joe, says, oh, I wish, but not for the same reason. She has to go to see her lawyer. And if I stay home, they'll just call me anyway. So I might as well go to work. Chandler says he's such a grown-up for dating someone who's getting a divorce.
Yeah, that would be weird.
And then there's a cut line right immediately after he says that. And he shouts it. Joey, hey, go to your room. And Joey retorts, hey, Chandler, up yours.
Oh,
which I thought they should have left that in. That was funny. Yeah. So Janice says she has to go and ask for a kiss. And Chandler says maybe he won't kiss her and then she'll have to stay. And Joey says,
kiss her.
They kiss and Janice says, bye, Joey. And he says, bye-bye, Janice. And she leaves. Chandler looks really happy. Mm-hmm. And Joey asks when he's dumping her. And he says, nope, not this time. And Joey says, come on, quit yanking me. And Chandler says, I'm not yanking you.
No, not this time.
He says, come on, this is Janice. And Chan says, I know, she makes me happy. But Joey challenges Chandler to look him in the eye and not blink while telling him he's not breaking up with her. And he does so without blinking. And then as Chandler leans in staring, Joey spits in his face. And he goes, you blinked.
You blinked.
Which was super funny.
Yeah. All right, so then we're at Monica and Rachel's. Mm-hmm. Monica, Ross, Phoebe, and Rachel, and then Joey comes in. Mine comes out of the bathroom with Richard's drain hair.
I'm not sure how sentimental I would be about that. Plus, we both have long hair, so I wouldn't be able to tell who's whose.
And, Monica asks what she should do with this. And Ross says, getting it away from me would be job one. She does not wish to throw it away because it's all she has left of him. Gross drain hair. And then she snaps out of it and realizes what she's holding and drops it into Ross's cereal.
I like how Phoebe leans over and goes, oh, look, it's like a tiny drowning person.
Ross kind of nods frantically and then dumps the hair into drain number 2. And Mon asks what's wrong with her. And Ross says she needs sleep. She says she needs some Richard. Bow chicka wow wow. They remind her that she dumped him, and she's wondering why he hasn't called, and Phoebe reminds her that she told him not to. And then she asks Phoebe if she's the memory woman. And then Joey storms in, telling the group that Chandler's not breaking up with Janice. He didn't blink or anything. And Rachel goes, well, yeah, they look cute together. Cute? Joey questions. This is Janice. And Rachel says, yeah, she's girlfriend, she's annoying, but what can we do? And now Joe's excited. He points out that that's the spirit he's looking for. What can they do? Ross! So Ross tells him, well, Chandler's their friend, and Janice makes him happy, so we should just be adults and accept her. Indignant, Joey states, we'll call that plan B, all right?
And then there's a cut line from Phoebe, which I thought was really funny. And he looks at Phoebe and she goes, okay, Ross, you go into the air duct and disable the alarm. The rest of us will rappel down ropes. We're in and out in 10 minutes and disappear into the night. Huh? Except Joey didn't look any amused after she got done with it.
Poor Joey. Nobody takes him serious.
So now we're at Ross's apartment, which we hardly ever go to, but they're sleeping at Ross's house. So Ross is working in bed and Rachel is reading, but she gets bored or horny, whichever, and leans over and starts kissing Ross. And she blows kisses as he is distracted.
Oh, I've been there.
Shut up. Rachel asks if he still has that Navy uniform, and he sadly says no, he had to return it to the costume shop. But he has an old band uniform from high school. And then Rach reminds him, you didn't have a lot of sex in high school, remember?
They look exactly the same. I don't know what she's talking about.
The hat's a little different. So Rachel asks if Ross has any fantasies he wants. He says, no. And she begs, and he says, no. But Rachel says, if you tell me, I might do it.
Oh, I've been there, too.
So he puts his work down and proceeds to tell about Return of the Jedi.
Ooh.
And there's a cut line because he asks her if she remembers Jabba the Hutt. And he describes him as a big fat worm guy. So Rachel's looking disgusted and says, wow, Men and women are really different. Ross says no. Jabba had Princess Leia as a prisoner, and she was wearing a gold bikini. And then he goes, and it was cool.
It was pretty cool.
And then there's a cut line. Rachel goes, so you want me to dress up like Princess Leia in the gold bikini? And Ross goes, okay.
All right. Sounds good.
It was your idea.
All right, then we're in Central Perk. Phoebe and Rachel. So Phoebe is confirming the Princess Leia thing. The guys their age all love that. And Rachel asks if Phoebe has ever done it. And then Phoebe is like, yeah. And she gets a little tingly memory that shivers through her body. And Rachel's like, oh, that good, huh? And then Phoebe's like, no, I just got this new pager and I have it on vibrate. And the crowd loves that joke. They just hoot and holler about it. And then Phoebe says, see, as she goes for the phone or the bathroom. I don't know where she's going.
Well, it is vibrating. Who knows?
So Ross enters with a dazed Monica, explaining he found her outside the Szechuan Dragon, staring at a parking meter. Rachel asks Mon why she isn't at work, and Monica says, they sent me home. She said, why? Because I don't work at the Szechuan Dragon. They tell her she needs to sleep as they kiss hello, to each other. Ross and Rachel kissing each other. And Ross is excited that someone is publishing his paper.
Yeah, so in the DVD version, he tells the name of his paper. Statistical Deviations in the Carbon Dating of Fossilized Algae. History or Mystery?
I don't understand the history or mystery part.
That's because he's not published very often.
Yeah. Rachel asks to see it, which is a very un-Rachel thing to ask.
Right.
You think she'd be like, no, I'm good. And Ross leans down to rummage through his briefcase, and from over by the counter, Phoebe picks up 2 buns and holds them up to her head, very New Hope Princess Leia. And she adds, oh, hi, where's my strong Ross Skywalker to come rescue me? And Ross, hearing this, stands up and turns around and looks at her. And Phoebe goes, oh, there he is. And Ross glares at Rachel in more of an Anakin fashion.
He does look very pissed. So we go to Chandler and Joey's apartment. We have Joey and Chandler. Chandler walks in as Joey is watching
Wheel of Fortune.
Joey's yelling at the TV saying, it's Count Rushmore.
Oh, boy.
And Chan says, you should really go on this show.
I'm Count Rushmore.
We hate watching, quiz shows with the boy kid because they ask the question, and we're watching it to, see if we can guess what the answer is. Right. And he's Googling it and shouting it out.
Yeah, he just Googles the answers and shouts. It's like, that's not knowing the answer. Never mind.
So Chandler announces he has 3 tickets to a Rangers game, and Joey says, I'm there. Is Ross going too?
No, Janice.
Janice.
Uh-oh.
It's just he feels bad for Ross because they're like the 3 hockey tears.
Ooh.
Chandler asks Joe if he has a problem with Janice.
No. Yes.
And then he goes on to explain, you know that girl from the Greek restaurant with the big hair? And Chan says, ooh, that girl that I hate, she drives me crazy.
Oh, no.
So Joe explains that he doesn't hate Janice.
He's very, very clear
about that. Yeah, he says, she's just a lot to take. And Chan says, wow, well, there you go. And Joey says, nuh-uh, man, she used to drive you nuts before, too, remember? And Chandler goes on to explain that he's crazy about her now, and this could be the real thing. Capital R, capital T. And Joey looks puzzled, and Chandler goes, don't worry, those are the right letters.
Yeah, he's like, why do you look so confused?
So Joey says he cannot say that he likes her. And Chandler asks if he can even try. Joey explains it's a chemical thing. Every time she starts laughing, I just want to pull my arm off just so I have something to throw at her. Well, I've been there.
Yeah, there was a lady at the one restaurant I worked at. When she would come back yelling for stuff, I'd be like, honey,
I can't take you.
Your voice cuts through me like a chainsaw when you're yelling like that. You need to tone it down a little.
So Chandler snatches the Ranger tickets back and says thanks for trying as he heads out the door. And by the way, there is no Count Rushmore. But Joey retorts, then who's the guy that painted the faces on the mountain? And Chandler opens the door back up and gives him a what the fuck look.
Painted? painted the faces on the mountain?
So the guy is Gutzon Borglum. Mm-hmm. And he's actually an American sculptor. He was born to Danish parents. Mm-hmm. So his first name is really John, but he goes by his middle name. Mm-hmm. And he carved Mount Rushmore. The project lasted from 1927 to 1941. Said he selected these 4 presidents because from his perspective, they represented the most important events in the history of the United States at the time.
We've been there. It's nice.
It is nice. I was looking at something one time and they were like monuments or sites that people make a big deal out of that you didn't think were a big deal. And people were naming the Grand Canyon and Mount Rushmore. And I'm like, the Grand Canyon is amazing. And Mount Rushmore, I mean, you didn't do that.
Right.
So I think it's pretty fucking cool. I mean, it looks like them.
People carve stuff into mountains. Big deal. I have a high score on Candy Crush.
So we've been there. It was nice.
Okay, so then we're at Monica and Rachel's. Ross and Rachel are there. Mm-hmm. Ross and Rachel walk into the apartment, and he is yelling at her. The two of them fighting is like a warm blanket to me now. It's like a rain machine at night. Makes me feel cozy.
I tell you everything. I always tell people that when they say, don't tell anyone, I always go, I'm going to tell Adam. So just as long as you know that, you can tell me. But if you don't want Adam to know. But yeah, I tell you everything.
Yeah. But Ross cannot believe Rachel told Phoebe. Rachel did not think it would be a big deal. And Ross says, oh, she did not think it would be a big deal. And that's when Rachel asks who he's talking to when he does that. The audience. Rachel, us.
He's talking to us.
That's who he's talking to.
That's right. Breaking the fourth wall.
Ross explains that it was a personal, private thing between us. And she says, Phoebe is her girlfriend. They tell each other everything. And yeah, you told 2 girlfriends. They both made fun of me. That's why I don't like you doing this.
Well, it's kind of hard when they're in the same circle, you know. Like,
yeah.
Usually girlfriends, when they talk about their significant others, they're not in the same circle. They don't hang out every day.
So she says guys do the same thing. What about locker room stuff? And Ross explains that's different. That's like who dated a stripper and who did it on the back of the Staten Island ferry.
Both those, Joey.
Yeah. But you don't talk about intimate stuff with your girlfriend. She asks, not even with your best friend? He's like, no. And Rachel thinks that's so sad. You're missing out on bonding and sharing and knowing that someone else is going through the same thing. And that's what you get a girlfriend for. But Ross wants clarification. You tell each other everything. Did you tell the night of 5 times? Did you share that?
Yeah, that was with Carol.
But I think it's worth mentioning, the next time you're sharing sexual details about me to my sister, please mention the night of 5 times. You sick fuck.
He's nasty. All right, we're back in Monica's bedroom. It's Monica and Phoebe. Poor Monica still can't sleep. It's called Advil PM, Monica. But that was probably before then. They probably didn't have Advil PM back then.
Well, they sure had something probably.
I do hate it when you're so tired you can barely function, but you cannot get to sleep. That's the worst feeling. I don't like it.
Yeah. But Phoebe doing the annoying rituals would not help me sleep.
But she is playing plinky plunky music.
Ooh, plinky plunky.
Talking in a very monotone, soft voice and rubbing some smelling stuff on her to try and get her to relax. She's just trying to get her to relax and then fall asleep. So she tells her to go to her happy place. She says, what's your happy place? And she says, Richard's living room drinking wine. Phoebe scolds her. That is not a Richard thing. Put down the glass and get out.
Get out. You need to find your own happy place.
But Mom says, that is my happy place. So Phoebe says she can borrow her happy place. Just don't move anything in there. Like the green ottoman. Don't touch it.
What's your happy place that you go to?
My happy place?
Yeah.
Having coffee with you, probably. Oh. What's your happy place?
I'm on the Nostromo in the bed with Jonesy, and the aliens are all finally dead, and getting some rest.
You're
just
crazy.
Relaxing.
So Phoebe starts to describe her happy place. A beautiful meadow, millions of stars in the sky. And Mon asks if she made a mistake breaking up with Richard.
There are no questions in the happy place. Side note, never trust a place with no questions.
That's right. Sounds like a cult.
Yeah.
She describes a warm breeze, moonlight through the trees. Then Monica jumps up and says she bets he's totally over her. and she bets he's fine. And Phoebe says, betting and wagering of any kind are not permitted in Happy Place. Unless your happy place is Vegas.
Vegas, baby!
Although I'm not sure why. Once was more than enough for me.
Yeah.
So Phoebe goes on to describe lovely waterfalls, trickling fountains, and calming sounds of the babbling brook.
The calming sounds of Ross and Rachel fighting in the next room.
And Monica is still awake, but now she has to pee.
So now we're at Joey and Chandler's apartment. Joey and Janice. Janice gets straight to the point. I hear you hate me. And Joey says he never said hate. He was very careful about that. A little birdie told me you want to rip your arm off and throw it at me.
You got hate from that?
But Janice says, fine, 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 fine. And she wants Joey to spend the entire day with her for Chandler to show that they can get along. Joey and Janice's day of fun. It has to be a whole day because that's how long it takes to love her. He says he knows because he sleeps in the next room.
So when Janice knocks on the door, there's a cut line where Joey answers it and says, Chandler's not here, but come in before you go, won't you? So now we're at Central Perk. We have Chandler, Rachel, Ross, and Phoebe. Mm-hmm. It starts off right off the bat with a cut scene.
Oh, a lot of cut scenes in this
I know, there are. So Chandler asks if they all hate Janice now. And Phoebe says, oh, you hate her too? Joey's going to be so relieved.
Oh.
But Chandler looks confused.
Hey.
But before they can react, Rachel says, oh my God, Monica's standing in the window with a human head. No, sorry, she's holding a box.
What's in the box?
No, she's holding a box and she's crying.
Oh, no.
Aww. And then there's a cut line, which I'm glad they cut out. I did not like it. But Chandler goes, look, everybody, it's Weepy, the mime who cares too much.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so out of place, and it's so uncharacteristic of him.
Right.
Because usually he's not, like, he's funny mean, but he's just not, like, outright mean.
Right.
And he knows what she's going through.
Right.
So I wonder if they cut it because they were like, that doesn't fit.
It doesn't work.
And then I got to say, oh my God, because what is Monica wearing? And it looks like the guy at the table behind her totally agrees. His
He's
face
like,
is like, you walk around and shit like that?
Right.
However, this is somewhat more presentable than some people in 2024. So
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah, it's a very Walmart look.
Yes.
If you go to Walmart.
She's got way more things covered up.
Yeah.
But she has a box from the post office with the videotapes about the Civil War. Is that an old person's joke? Like she got him tapes from the Civil War because he was in his 50s?
Yeah, because all those older guys loved the Civil War. I don't know why.
So weird. So Phoebe offers to take Monica home, and Mom says, or perhaps to a galaxy far, far away.
Again, this is why guys don't like you sharing personal details.
Well, you don't share it with your sister. That's just weird.
Well, but she did. She shared it with his sister.
She did. So Ross is exacerbated and laments to Chandler that women tell each other everything.
That's why I keep all of my thoughts in my head, or I share them with this podcast.
So Chan says, yeah, I know. And Ross says, no, man, everything. Stuff you like, stuff she likes, technique, stamina, girth. Now Chandler is exacerbated. And he says, girth? Why would they do this?
I'm very skinny. Girth's not my thing.
I love all the whys.
Yeah.
Like, there's 5 whys. I counted. So Ross explains that supposedly sharing is great, and they should be doing it. And he half-heartedly asked Chandler.
Do you want to?
So once Chan establishes that they're not going to talk about girth, he's in. And
Jeez, you got... Never mind.
No. Don't go there. But I love how he sits sideways with his legs crossed. Mm-hmm. Like he's gossiped before. Like.
Right. Okay, we're going to gossip now.
So he tells Ross to go first, who then proceeds to tell him about his fantasy with Princess Leia in the gold bikini. And Chandler, like, right off the bat, validates his fantasy.
Right.
He's like, yeah. And then Ross feels much better. Mm-hmm. And he goes like, okay, now your turn. Mm-hmm. So Chandler proceeds to tell how you're in your bedroom with a woman.
With you so far.
And then you start doing stuff. And then you have these mental images that go through your mind. Like Elle Macpherson, who later plays Janine
right.
in Friends, which is funny. Or the Xerox girl.
With the belly button ring.
So Ross agrees enthusiastically.
Right. And I'm just impressed that they started laying the groundwork for the breakup so early in season 3. I mean, episode 1, they're not messing around. They're like, we need to establish this girl with the belly button ring.
Right.
Because it's coming back later.
This is foreshadowing at its best. And then Chandler goes on to say, and then you start picturing your mom, and you can't stop what you're doing. So you kind of like, you don't know.
No, I don't know.
Appalled Ross says, your mom? I said share, not scare. Go sit over there. I love that he makes you
go sit over there.
Sit someplace else.
Remember I had that one friend who would be like, okay, don't look at me for a little bit.
Yes. It was so funny. You would say something embarrassing and they'd be like, don't look at me.
Just don't look at me.
I'll be okay in a minute. Just don't look at me.
And as a guy, I can tell you that whenever guys share, it's never good. Guys are the fucking worst.
Yeah. They're not going to share sentimental things like that. They're going to share mean, gross things. So.
Yeah. And the people that share are always like, stop. No.
Please don't share anymore.
All right. So then we're at Chandler and Joey's. Chandler, Janice, and Joey. So Chandler's on his laptop at the counter, and Joey and Janice come in with their Chinese food and the pennant and the stuffed animal and a lollipop. I don't know. All the stuff from Joey and Janice's day of fun. And Joey's like, we had some money, so we went here and there. And he loves this woman. And he announces, Chandler, you have some competition now. And Janice says she has to go pick up the baby. She just came in for a kiss. And she says, later, sweetheart, and you too, Chandler. And Chandler comforts Joey. I mean, you still can't stand her, can you? And he's like, sorry, man, I tried. I really did. And Chandler admits that he's glad Joey gave it a shot. But Joey finds the silver lining. He survived the whole day with her, and so did she. It was Bat Day at Shea Stadium. Oh, I love bats. We got to go see the bats.
Baseball bats, Adam. Baseball bats.
Oh, I know. But Joey explains that he now knows he can be around Janice, which means he can hang around Chandler, which is kind of the whole point. And Chandler says okay, but he still seems a little upset. I mean, in a lesser way. And then Joey stops him and says, oh, I ran into Ross. Oh, God.
Chandler's face when Joey says he ran into Ross is so funny.
Yeah.
He's like, his whole face changes.
Yeah.
It's like alert mode.
Uh-oh. And Joey says, if it makes him feel better, he does it too. And Chandler gets kind of a lot of excited. You know? He's bonding and shit with Joey now. And then the other shoe drops. Joey admits, oh, yeah, I always picture your mom when I'm having sex.
Oh.
Chandler is not looking so happy now.
We're back at Monica and Rachel's, and it's Monica and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
So Monica is smoking the remnants of a cigar while watching the Civil War video she ordered for Richard, and there's a knock at the door. It's Jack Geller. Yay. Mom is playing bridge, so he came into the city for a little Monty cuddle. Aww. He questions when she started smoking cigars.
Since she was 13, apparently.
And she assures him she just likes the smell. And Jack just wants to make sure she's okay. And she asks why he might think she's not okay. And he says he saw Richard.
I saw Richard.
She says she's tired and asks how Richard's doing. And Jack assures her that Richard is doing terrible. Aww. Worse than when he split up from his wife. And Monica could not be more happy.
Yeah. Oh.
Not happy that he's miserable per se, but happy that she's not the only one who's sad about the relationship ending.
Right.
So Jack says he's a mess. And she asks if he was crying. And he says no. But Mom asks if he was maybe waiting until after he left so he could cry. And he goes, maybe.
Maybe.
I thought that was so cute.
Probably not, but...
And she goes, I think so. And Jack says, relationships are hard. And then he goes on to tell the story about how he and Judy, the right before they got married, they broke up. And her dad wanted her to travel the world like he did. But he goes on to snark that he did it on Uncle Sam's nickel because he was strafing German troop trains. But he trails off because Monica has fallen asleep. So he picks up her cigar and turns the Civil War video back on.
Oh, Civil War tapes and cigars. Good times for somebody.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I've ever done or said those things.
So Ross's bedroom.
Yes.
Ross and Rachel.
This is our tag, right?
Yeah, this is the stinger.
Okay.
This is the stinger. Ross is in bed, getting ready for his fantasy to come to life by humming the Star Wars theme, alone in bed. Then the door opens and Rachel's in her robe, and then she reveals the Return of the Jedi gold bikini beneath. Ross is humming with gusto now. Rachel announces that she is Jabba's prisoner, and you have a really weird look on your face. And we see Ross's eyes go wide, and he's starting to look scared a little. And she asks if she got the hair wrong. Yes, but that's not what's bothering Ross. He is shaking his head and saying it's not Rachel. Then we see Ross's mother, played by Christina Pickles, wearing the Leia outfit. Well, you can kind of see the Leia bikini beneath the robe. Right. She has it almost fully closed. Because she was like, I'm not doing it all the way open.
Right. I'm too old for that.
And she's like, what is it, sweetie? You're kind of freaking me out here. And Ross is holding his chest, saying he hates Chandler. The bastard ruined his life. And Rachel, looking all cute and sexy, is confused. And that's the end of the episode.
Oh, that's the end.
Cut and print.
Cut and print. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
Women tell each other everything. Did you know that?
Yeah.
No, Chandler. Everything. Like, stuff you like, stuff she likes, technique, stamina, girth.
Girth? Why would they do this?
Rachel says sharing is great, and supposedly, we ought to be doing it. Do you want to?
We're not talking about girth, are we?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
Okay, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
So the other night, Rachel and I were in bed talking about fantasies, and I happened to describe a particular Star Wars thing.
Chewbacca strangling Lando?
What? No! We're done here. No! Not Chewbacca strangling Lando! Now we're back!
We're back! Let's wrap this up. What did you learn from this episode?
I learned that I have a little interest in the Civil War. And I think it'd be interesting to spend a day with Janice and Joey.
I agree. I think I would have liked to have been a fly in the corner of that day of fun. I learned that I think the cold open was filmed at another time and plugged in for this episode.
Really? But he's got the greasy hair.
But Monica looks so happy and refreshed.
Oh, yeah.
So...
you're going by Monica.
Yeah, she starts off the episode so sad and depressed. Right. So I think that was plugged in. What are your final thoughts?
I mean, Morgan Fairchild would have looked better in the gold bikini than Christina Pickles. No disrespect to Christina Pickles, but if you're going by moms, Chandler would have been the mom, right?
Yeah. I don't think your boobs would have fit into that bikini, though.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I think this was an excellent start to the season. It's funny, it's balanced, everyone's story was just suffering along with her. Mm-hmm. The Chandler mom thing was hilarious. You don't know. It's a good, solid episode.
Fun times.
It is. So, sweater vest tracker.
Sweater vest. I mean, this is the first episode and we got one right away. No complaints.
We just need 14 more episodes and we'll hit my number.
Right.
You said lucky number 13. So
lucky number 13.
You need 12 more episodes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Before we do the IMDb rating and reviews, we like to remind all of our listeners out there, we'd much rather include your reviews of the episodes.
Yeah.
So email us at maladjustedmisfits@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'd like to hear more from you misfits out there.
All right. So, Adam, what rating did this episode get?
So this episode got an 8.9 out of 10 stars. Okay. With 7,600 ratings.
Wow, that's a lot.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. So I did something funny here, so bear with me. It's really funny. Mm-hmm. I picked a review for this episode, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
The title of it is Hate It in quotations.
Okay.
Review was hilarious to read. So the title is someone else's title of their review.
Oh, okay. All right.
And this one's by Johnny Pears 15, January 2020. Okay?
All right.
So the guy who got real mad about this episode in the review made me laugh so much. Imagine being that but hurt over a harmless joke in a fictional show from over 20 years ago. This episode is a great start to season 3. It has laughs and also a very sweet moment with Elliot Gould towards the end.
Yeah.
Don't take comedy too seriously, LOL.
Okay. So what?
Then I found Hate It's review.
You found Hate It's review.
Did.
Okay.
He gave it a 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. Okay.
But listen to his name. Stifler Basant 0101. So Stifler was the guy from American Pie.
Right.
So that's a vulgar show about moms.
Right.
MILFs, right?
That's when the term MILF was coined, was by Stifler.
April 2015, which makes me think that this might be a goofy review, but it's pretty.
Okay.
I'm going to read it anyway.
Okay.
So I hate this particular episode because it has crossed all levels of vulgarity. Chandler tells Ross that he imagines his mother while having sex. I mean, how can anyone say that? This is absurd. You have crossed all levels.
All levels.
The writers do not care about the purest relationship of a mother and son.
Sorry. Purist.
This is absurd and bullshit. I hate Chandler Bing because of this one line only. It can ruin someone's life. Hate Friends because of this episode only. Else, it was good. The writer and director of the show must apologize to the public for showing such a thing on TV. I mean, just imagine, how can you say that a son imagining his mother during sex, they should be punished for showing this vulgarity and this cheapness on television?
Oh my God.
So I can't tell if it's out of like humor or he's serious, but it doesn't matter because it is fucking hilarious.
It is funny. If he did it on purpose, bravo. You got us.
Right, that's right.
Otherwise, you're way too mad.
You're way too mad over it. That's so funny.
And you might want to avoid Oedipus Rex by Sophocles and the movie Old Boy. I wouldn't watch Old Boy either.
All right, so what are we looking at next week?
Next week, the one where no one's ready.
Oh, a bottle episode.
Yeah.
That means they never leave the apartment.
They never do.
The whole episode takes place in Monica's apartment.
Yes. Stressed Ross tries to wrangle the gang into black tie mode for a museum benefit, but Monica's obsessing over a message that Richard left. Chandler and Joey fight over cushions and stuff, and Ross nearly has to drink a jar of fat to patch things up with Rachel.
Oh, you drink the fat. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some maladjusted content?
I am ready.
All right. What did we do this week?
What'd we do?
I don't remember either.
Well, we watched Predator. That's why I made the Predator.
You did.
I started to make
a Predator joke.
A Predator joke, and then I stopped myself.
Yeah. And then we watched, what was the other one? The Predator.
The Predator.
Right.
The newer Shane Black one.
The new Shane Black one, which was kind of just like comically funny.
Right.
And we talked about it because you said it didn't have that Predator vibe to it.
No.
It wasn't like an alien, like you were scared of this alien. It was really goofy.
Yeah, it was goofy. He was trying to add some of his comedy, which he does. You know, his last couple movies before that had been The Nice Guys and, you know, like Iron Man 3 and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and stuff. So,
well, I love all those movies.
Yeah. But he was really trying to keep his sense of humor in there.
Right.
And I think he was trying to turn it into something else so it could become more of an alien invasion type thing.
Oh, okay.
But it did not work well. You know.
Yeah. We tried to watch The Predator 2, but I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I was really bored off the bat.
Yeah, I'm hit and miss with the Predator movies. I like the new one, Prey, that's on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
That's the newest one, and they're kind of making sequels to that now, I guess. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we haven't watched The Umbrella Academy because I read a spoiler online, so I'm kind of trying to forget about it so I can get back in the groove.
Yeah.
I don't like reading spoilers, but And it's not even a 30-year-old TV show. It's something that just came out.
Right, the 4th season just came out, and they spoiled something for you.
But I'm excited.
Luckily, you haven't told me, though.
No,
so.
I didn't. I'm excited because Only Murders in the Building is coming back.
Yeah.
Season 4.
We haven't watched that first episode yet, but it's out there.
We're waiting. It comes out on Tuesdays. We want to get a couple episodes before we... All right, anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, you guys, thanks so much for listening. And again, if you want your thoughts or reactions regarding future episodes to be shared with the rest of the class, or you just want to reach out and say hey, email us at themaladjustedmisfits@gmail.com. Rate us and leave positive comments.
And if you have a negative comment, try to leave it in a positive way.
And don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Adam makes fun memes every week. You can follow the link in the show notes. Again, our pages are called The One Where We Talk About Friends.
Joe, you ready for a cup of coffee?
Always. Okay, all right. This is what we're going to call it. Joey and Janice's Day of Fun.